We talk a lot about body motion because I'm an inside first, then outside. Today we're going to talk about the outside of the swing, which I call the arms and hands.
So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Mo Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing.
Hey, welcome to the channel today. I don't know if you saw the last video that I have on the channel, but I'm talking about internal rotation of the body. And listen, I want to talk about some things in the way I instruct that might be really helpful for you if you're willing to spend some time maybe getting into the nuance of a golf swing. The first thing that is very important in a golf swing is to understand that body motion is primary to arm motion. Now, I think the reason this gets confusing is because most people who learn the golf swing, and this is just the way people want to learn something is, and probably the way that you learned it, is you went out to the range and you grabbed some golf clubs, you put a ball on the ground, and you started making arm motion at the ball. And so you basically, you're directing the arms in different angles to try to get to this golf ball. And that's the way most people learn it. And then over time, as you start improving or you stay with the game, because it's a very hard game, is you start trying to control the body. Because then you start saying, okay, I got to make sure that I get down to impact, because impact obviously is the moment the ball is struck. So you kind of think of the progression of the way people learn the golf swing. They start, I call it slashing away with the arms, and they kind of get stable, and they start trying to figure out how to control the arms. Well, what's actually happening in that scenario is they're learning to control what controls the arms. And so that's why if you look at any of my instruction or any of Graves golf instruction, the way we teach is to get the body in positions, there's the word I use a lot, as a primary thing, and the arms are a secondary thing. If the arms are primary, then you will make lots of manipulation to try to get to impact. So I talk a lot about the position of the body, because without proper positioning of the body, you're basically making tons of compensations throughout the motion. But I do want to talk today about arms, hands, and club movement, because this is what comes secondary and obviously what hits the golf ball. Now, as I discuss this, it's a large conversation because people tend to think shoulders and torso and arms. I consider the arms and the front of the shoulders here, because this is what the arms are attached to. The torso is the internal part. The arms, shoulders, hands, and club are the external part. So that's kind of part two of the swing. So what is happening with the arms, hands, and shoulders? Not shoulder blades, not that part of your body, but this front part of your arm. And what you're getting is what I call, once the body's in position, and it has to be there, you're getting the proper motion of how the arms isolate. There's an isolation happening with the lead arm. And then there's obviously the body, as the body rotates, the arms, this one has to make a rotation, but there's an interesting element to this. I want to explain it to you. And this one is making what I call skipping the rock. So I'm going to put the club down for just a minute. And let's just talk about what's happening to the arms, and I'm going to do it individually. And this is where I kind of break it down for you a little bit, because and some of you are like, wow, you've made this swing way too complicated. I think I've heard that a lot lately, is this swing's complicated. Yes, I would love for you to grab a golf club, set it down, and be good at hitting a golf ball. I would love for that. But again, if your body's not positioned correctly, which is what good players have learned to do and refined is body position, you will struggle, and you will try to make the arms primary, and you will make golf very difficult. So what are the arms doing? Okay, let's look at it. So body being in position, all things equal there, body's in position. As I'm coming down in the downswing, this stabilizes, obviously, I'm in my side bend and rotation. This arm has made an internal rotation, okay? So this lead arm has made an internal rotation. Internal, external, right? So this arm has made an internal rotation. And it's made the rotation to get the club onto a plane. So That's important, and we're going to talk about that in the next video, how plane is such an important thing. Now, when I start body position primary, when I go into my tilt side bend, this stays internally rotated, all right? So it isolates the shoulder. Internal rotation will isolate the shoulder to where then the forearm can rotate to square the face. So you have this internal rotation, shoulder moving up, and then a rotation of the face to square. So this isolating the shoulder is key to squaring a club face. So watch what happens when I do that. I'll go kind of slow here. I'm coming down. See how this is in an internal rotation? I'm pulling it with the proper torso movement, and then I get down here and it squares, right? And I'm not saying you have to try to square the hand. It's actually a forearm rotation. It's a forearm rotation. It's not a hand rotation. It's very similar, but it's a forearm rotation squaring the club. And then here's why it's important to have a proper grip, because then we got to talk about what's happening down here. The hand is planing the face. So you're seeing the hand plane the face. Well, why do I want this type of plane versus that type of plane or that type of plane? Because when this makes its isolated upward motion from an internally rotated standpoint, it squares. It makes the face square. If this hand is in a strong position, and I've seen some conversation about this, well, you can just have a strong grip. You can have a strong grip and hit a golf ball. No, nothing incorrect about that, but I think it's very inconsistent, and here's why. When you have an internal rotation of the hand and the grip in a rotated position, the club face, when there's mass on this club and it's trying to get to the bottom, it's trying to create a straight line. So in other words, you're trying to create a straight line, holding it like this way, and you've heard the term holding it off, right? Holding it off. It's hard to hold this angle, and while the arm is extending out. So you have this arm extending and you're trying to hold this angle. I'm not saying it can't be done, but then you fight this club face closing. And what you'll see is people will hit their irons pretty well. They can compress an iron because it's a shorter club and not as much speed, but they hit the driver out with a strong grip, and now they got to really hold it off. So the compensation becomes strong grip, more rotation, because I got to isolate the shoulder longer. So if I have a strong grip, I've got to isolate this shoulder for a longer period of time so I don't rotate the hand square. When you do that, and I'm gonna throw this out there, you put stress on the back. And consider what's happening here in this discussion is I'm walking you through what I call cause and effect. A strong grip can cause back problems, 100%, because what happens is this strong grip turns into a isolated arm longer than it needs to, an over rotation and a compression on the back. And what you want to see is this arm go from internal to external. So you want to go internal rotation, external rotation, and look what happens with the shoulder. It gets isolated and it moves very efficiently. If you do this, see how it moves my body has to tilt more and I have to hang on to it. This is why we have to have the proper lead hand grip. That's a pretty good explanation of the lead hand. Let's talk about the trail hand. Trail hand is actually easier because it's doing this. From the proper position of the body, it's in a non-rotational skipping the rock. If I was going to skip a rock, it would look like this. I'd hold the rock in my hand, you would tilt your body, you would stabilize into the leg, and you would rotate with a bent arm and a hinged wrist, and you would skip. And notice, I'm not rolling anything. I'm skipping, extending, like this, skipping a rock like that. And so what you get now is you get internal rotation, isolation squaring, and you get skipping rocks with this arm from a bent to straight position. Let's demonstrate that just so you kind of see it. I'm gonna go super slow motion swing here. You're gonna kind of see me just tap a ball out there about 230, 240 yards with the driver. And what I'm doing here is just letting those arms go in the proper motion, all related to arms and shoulder motion. And at the end of the day, here's what I want you to understand about this. And I try to give you in this instruction what, why, and how to do it, and then what you should be doing. Right? I try to cover those bases when I give you some instruction. You've heard the what, you've heard the why. How does this occur from proper positions? And now The how and the now is, how do I get the arms to pass the body? Because this is what I want you to feel when you do this. I want your arms to have freedom. And why do I want your arms to have freedom to move? Well, I want velocity, right? I want speed. So watch this. So let me go ahead and come over here in front. I want you to step over and watch this from a face-on view, because I'm going to move this so you can see this a little bit better. I'm going to watch the arms pass the body, and we're going to get two angles on this. We got a down the line, face on. Maybe we can do a little split screen here on this. All right, so what's going to happen is I'm going to make a swing, and you're going to see this happen. Stabilization, arms pass. And we'll do a slow-mo after I hit one. We'll do the swing and then a slow-mo. So here we go. Arms pass the body because of what I just talked to you about. Here we go. So it happens fast in fast motion, right? You don't see any of that, but what's happening there is I'm taking it back, stabilizing, body position's correct, this arm's skipping a rock, this arm's isolated, squares the face, releases the face, shoulder gets isolated, arm accelerates. It's a lot going on there, but that's why I wanted to explain it to you, because I feel this. I feel the arms pass the body. They're passing my body like that, so I can accelerate them because I have stability, rotation, acceleration. Hope that helps. Click the bell icon, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.